Hi, and welcome to Moments of Magic. Tonight, we're going to talk about a little bit of it, coming at magic from a different way. And it's actually Bob's story to tell, but he's going to be using music as a introduction to magic or as a
As a hook.
explanation, as a hook. There you go.
Oh,
Over to you.
is
Yes,
that my
over
lead
to
in?
you.
Yeah, Gene and I were talking about different kinds of magic and whether or not there actually are, ones that are more intense than others, which you would certainly seem that they were, and ones that come from other directions and other places than, what you might have thought or have experienced in the past. And and during this discussion, I kind of brought it up because I'd been reading this article about uh, fish and an interview
The
with
musical group,
in this interview with Trey
not fish that you
Anastasio.
catch.
Well, sometimes catching a fish can be miraculous too, but
Yes.
I they, in the discussion they were talking about various things that happened to them whilst they were playing, and it reminded both Gene and I of things that happened to us when we're doing shows and interacting with other people in our sort of our more teaching capacity of what we do. And then I was thinking in terms of, when I'm making wands, there's this little thing that happens where you kind of go into another zone, a different place of being, where you don't you're just outside of yourself, and it sometimes feels like you're receiving information, and sometimes it just feels like you're, just kind of working
In it.
in it. So anyway, I was thought I'd just read a couple of passages from this interview. One of them, because it was the one that actually meant the most to me at the time, was uh, the leader of Fish, Trey Anastasio, said, "The universe opens up and I feel like I don't exist. I'm not locked in my mind anymore. And I can sense the scale, how minuscule we are in the grand scheme, and I don't understand any of it. It feels like being pulled like a water skier. It's a miracle, this moment." And then his bandmate, the drummer, he said, "When that portal opens, I don't remember a single thing. I know which gigs are really good by how little I can remember. I do things on the drums that I never practiced and had no idea I was capable of. I have to go back and learn shit that happened in jams that I don't actually know how to do." And I thought, wow, that sounds so familiar. So it's like this interesting little moment of calm magic.
That is entering into the field of magic. It truly is.
Yeah.
So,
So there was another little thing that, who said it? I guess it was Trey Anastasio. He said the band achieves a kind of otherworldly synchronicity, both internally and with its audience. This kind of moment, though mysterious, has been an essential and meaningful part of our existence. And that those were like things that actually spoke to me. So it was like a sort of a moment of quiet, confirmational moment of magic, because I experienced that too.
and it is similar to when you are dealing with people, whether it's one on one or in a group, where you're you're talking or you're conversing or you're just sitting in the energy and time just goes away and you're just in it and you're and what comes from sometimes both people in the conversation. Sometimes I've experienced it where I will say things and I'll listen to what I'm saying and it'll be completely outside of the realm of what my mind knows. So that to me is a moment of magic, and you were saying that as well. And so these are just different ways to experience the magic, and they're just kind of fun to notice, and you can notice them anywhere when you're reading an article, when you're talking to a person, a friend, or a colleague. They're everywhere, seriously. And I have a one little tiny moment of magic of my own. We were shopping for stones yesterday, and I had paid for my stuff, and we were waiting for someone else, and this stone sort of reached out from the table, and it's a malachite, and I'm not normally drawn to malachite, but it has all these portals in it, and they're so obvious. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is a stone for the solstice, because all of these portals are opening, and during the solstice there are portals open. So if you're planning on celebrating the solstice tomorrow, find one of your stones that has a little portal in. This one's very definite. This is the one you need to, like for me, I would say if I was going to do a meditation, I'd go in right in there and experience something, information from somewhere different. So that's my suggestion for the solstice tomorrow. And I'd love to hear your stories. As always, we are open to hearing your comments, stories, questions. It's always fun for us to hear.
And if you wanna treat yourself a little bit to what might turn out to be a little moment of magic, see if you can find a picture of John Fishman, the band drummer for Fish, in his performance costume. Show him that rock again.
He wears a dress that's got little these on it. So that was kind of a moment of magic too.
She showed it to me. She brought it up here, and she said, "Oh, here, I got this. This is my moment of magic." And I was reading all this stuff about the band, and I said, "Well, yeah, that looks like John Fishman."
And we have a moment of magic from Emmy, who's listening right now. Hers is she was sending energy to an animal, and her whole body turned into a fairy.
Wow.
Which is actually, knowing Emmy does not surprise me, because she is very fairy-like. And that is a definite moment of magic. So thanks, Emmy, for mentioning that. We appreciate that.
And remember, sometimes moments of magic come from, like really unexpected places, like magazine articles. Some of them are even
Working on animals.
Are have to do with animals. We actually had a sort of a moment of magic here this evening.
It wasn't magic. It was terrible.
They're not always they can be
nature is
they can be nature.
Harsh.
They can be weird, a little bit strange, and I think sometimes then that's where magic gets that bad rap about being not dispositive. Or
we had a small baby bunny who got taken by the hawk. We have a hawk that hangs out by our house. So I mean, it's the cycle of life, and it's natural, and it was horrible. So he didn't want me to mention it, but that's what happened. It happens. It's nature. It's the food chain. So, and it was really, really awful. So anyway, if you're listening, we will be here on Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time with another live sale where we're going to be talking about stones of the air that have air element energy and inspiration energy. So we appreciate you, and thank you for your story, Emmy. And we will hopefully see you on Sunday, and we will see you next week on Moments of Magic.
And that was actually another kind of like a little moment of magic, because we weren't going to talk about the bunny.
No, but we did. Yeah. You sort of, it was a perfect lead in. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you, and we will see you on Sunday or next Thursday.